What's up, everybody? It's your boy Flash from ALWT Gaming, aka Malachai36. I am here with
Gravity-Mark. Not one, two.
numero dos. Welcome to our second episode of All Day Anime. You ain't got the answer, Sway. No, I just wanted to rhyme right there. Gravity, man, how are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. This week has been really slow, so for me, this is my Friday, so thank God it's Sunday.
Facts, yeah. For anyone, real fast before we go ahead and start diving inside this, 2021, the year of animes, it's about to be super hardcore. Anime wise, 2019 going inside 2020 was really good as well, but this year is going to be the continuation of a lot of those great animes, and it's going to be some good stuff. But we wanted to start the new year off right. We got some news that we're going to be sharing on All Things Game on Tuesday, but for part of the news that you guys may have noticed already is as of our last stream for All Things Gaming, the ALWT Gaming has officially became Twitch affiliates. So thank you guys very much for your support. Shout out to you guys. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, huge shout out to you guys because, and I know every single streamer says this, but without you guys, it literally wouldn't have been possible. So thank you very much again for that, for your love, for your support, for your submissions, for the follows, which also brings me to my next thing. If you guys have Amazon Prime and have a Twitch account or are willing to make a Twitch account, you guys can actually link them together. You guys will have what is called Twitch Prime, and on a monthly basis, Twitch Prime allows you, normally it costs to subscribe to your Twitch streamer of choice, but Twitch Prime allows you to have a free sub that you guys can go ahead and give away to any streamer of your choice. You guys are already getting it for free. Might as well use it for ALWT Gaming, you know what I mean? So, again, Amazon Prime, link them together with your Twitch account, become Twitch Prime, sub to us if you'd like to. If not, go ahead and go to another streamer of your choice. If you like their content better, or if you're just vibing with them a little bit more. No hard feelings. We just want to make sure you guys are utilizing that sub because it's free money that you guys can be giving away. So be on the lookout for all that. Gravity, man, what's going on? What's new with you, man? What's the first topic on the agenda?
Well, first topic on the agenda. Just this past week, I started ReZero. And I am just about done with season 1. I think I have like maybe 2 more episodes left. I think. I mean, they're an hour long, so I mean, like I've put in like probably around like 11 to 12 hours into this thing. So, holy, let me just start off by saying that my whole week has been centered around watching ReZero. I've heard so many good things about season 2. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? Let me give it a try. Let me just like see. Like it's an isekai, you know, like I've seen like a bunch of isekai. Let me see how this one's gonna be different. Oh my god. It is so different. It is really, really different. Like kind of like we were talking about just before we started the stream. You were kind of comparing it to kind of like I guess like the comparison like I would make it like with combining it with what you would say would kind of be like Erased cross Shield Hero. Yeah. And I say that just because of the main premise of the show. This is, you know, I guess like this is a spoiler like if you like technically, but it's also like the main premise of the show that like they'll kind of push to like get people to come in. So if you don't want to know anything about the series and you want to go watch it just based on us saying go watch it. If you don't care about me telling you the main premise of the show, go ahead, stick around. 3, 2, 1. The main character just dies in Groundhog's Day like just to another checkpoint. And I love that concept. I love the concept of, first of all, this guy who is just your average Joe, just whisked away. I mean, he's kind of a loser in the sense that like he's kind of a shut-in. He doesn't really interact with anybody. He doesn't really do anything, and he kind of and the series kind of goes into that. But he's whisked away to this world, and he typically has like all of these expectations for what an isekai normally is, where he's like, oh, this is the moment where I'm going to use my magic, and then nothing happens. Or he's like, oh, this is the part where this is going to happen, and like the opposite happens. Or like it's like, oh, this is the moment where I meet the pretty girl and she's going to fall in love with me, and then she like smacks him in the face. It's like it kind of it does fit a lot of those stereotypical isekai motifs, but at the same time there are certain ones that they subvert, and especially like with some of the stuff that they do with the music too. I've noticed like in a few spots where they'll just say really weird stuff, and then like normally like if I'm watching it, I'll like pause it to just be like, did I hear them just say that right? But like they'll say something funny or like something weird, and then like the music will just stop. They like, and like the main character will be like, did you just say something weird? And they're just like, no, I didn't. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. I will say, it is not only funny, it gets me in the feels. Like this most recent spot, like I'm like near the end of season 1. Anybody who's watched the end of season 1 of ReZero will know what I'm talking about. It's getting me all sorts of feels. Like it can be very funny, but at the same time, it can explore these ideas of hopelessness and just depression and just, I mean, the guy dies like frequently.
Yeah.
Well, not like super frequently, but like he's died multiple times.
And he feels every bit. Yeah, he feels every bit of it too.
Yeah, it's not like oh, I'm just gonna die and I'm not gonna feel it and I'm gonna come back. No, it is like he feels every bit of it and has to die and then he's sent back.
Yeah. And
I love the concept of that. I love the concept of basically him just like banging his head against, like metaphorically banging his head against a wall until he's like, oh, I should use the door.
And definitely, so capping on ReZero for sure. I think if you guys have yet to see it, if you guys seen it Erased, or even Rising of the Shield Hero, as we were just talking off stream just now, it does kind of feel like it's combining the two together. I definitely like the premise of it, of him using Revive by Death strategically eventually. But even then, it's just like, how strategic is it? Because sometimes his strategy doesn't go out how he's expecting it to be just because he uses Revive by Death. So it's just like seeing all these different outcomes and scenarios throughout the whole series, and it really paints a picture. And I will say, I said this to Gravity-Mark off stream. I've said this to Ohio off stream. I've said this to It's the Nine Ball off stream. I don't care what anybody says. Normally, the protagonist will have a main love interest as a protagonist that you guys want to see them together, and I can see them together. But Rem, I want Rem and Subaru to get, like, just choose her. Just choose her. What are you thinking?
She's so sweet. She's so sweet. Yeah. Like have your opinions. You know what? Well, let's have a discussion. Like if you guys like want to join in the chat, definitely like send us comments on all of our social media pages. Definitely like talk about it. Let's talk about it, because I like Rem. I love Rem. Because I will say, like, Amelia, I love Amelia too, especially with like things that go on in season 1. She stands up for herself. Like she doesn't really put, like, she has a limit to where like she'll say like, hey, I'm not gonna put up with this. Like, this is what you did. Like, what you're doing is not cool. And I love that about her. But what I also love about Rem is that she is just viciously loyal, and especially like if you've ever gone through like that moment in your life where you just really need somebody to be there for you, like just having that one person in your life, you're just like, I need you, man. I need you, woman. I need you. It's something where I'm just like, man, like, Rem, come on. And especially like with all the stuff that you end up seeing with Rem, holy crap, Rem. She's awesome. Yeah, and you will see so much again as you guys get through the season. Season 2 is pretty good. It actually restarted again. ReZero restarted. You see what I did there? But anyway, it restarted again. Well, the next season has started back up again, and I think the new episode came out today. If not, I think it's coming out like Monday or something like that. It's definitely coming out this week for sure. But if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you guys are checking it out. But
That's actually not the first topic of. Actually, no, that is one of the topics. Wow, that's number 3. Ha! We just dove into it a little early. Actually,
it just happened to be what I was doing this week.
Yeah. So there you go. So let me ask you this then, Gravity. We're going to actually make our number 3 our number 1. The part that you're at right now, without spoilers, the part that you're at right now. What direction do you think that this anime is going to go? Do you think Subaru's going to die? Do you think Emilia's going to die? Do you think anyone's going to die and stay permanently dead? Or do you think that that's going to be another love interest? Like what type of plot twist are you anticipating? Because I know I'm further than you, so I already know a little bit more of as far as what season 2 has to offer. But I'm at a point right now at the end of season 2 or continuation of season 2, season 3, whatever you want to call it, to where I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. And I'm curious to how this is going to unfold. Where's your headspace at?
You know, had you asked me like maybe a few days ago, I would say there's no way that anybody's going to stay dead. There's no way, like, all of them are going to die regularly. But there's no way that anyone's going to stay dead. But with where I am now, they've kind of shown that, like with his revival by death ability, like he'll usually just, like any mistakes that happen or anything bad that happens, he just starts over like right before that happens, and so he can correct it and do whatever he needs to do. But the show has shown that sometimes his reset point will be after he makes a mistake, and so no matter what he's doing, he now has to live with that mistake. Something bad happens, he now has to live with the consequences of that. So at least now I'm like, I don't think anybody in like the main cast would die off this soon. I would hope not, because I really like them all. But I feel like maybe at some point down the line, somebody's gonna die and somebody's gonna stay dead, and his reset point is gonna be like after that.
I have to ask you one thing real quick, and you don't have to dive into it because I don't want you to spoil anything for yourself or anything like that. But have you gotten to Sloth?
I have. Oh my God, what is wrong with it?
So, again, viewers, check out ReZero in order to see what we mean by Sloth. We're not going to talk about it today, but when you guys get to Sloth, that's when,
like, he's one of these guys.
Yeah, that's when more of your preferences in characters, the main characters and villainous, like the antagonists, are going to really come out, and that's where you guys are going to be like, all right, I like you, I don't like you, I like you, I don't like you, I love you, I hate you. Like, you guys are going to see a lot of that, because I think that's where it really starts picking up, and it just gets really challenging. And I mean, the whole thing is definitely. I think it's the premise is a good pace, but when you get to Sloth, it really, really, really hits you straight in the gut, straight in the heart, man.
Oh, it grabbed my heart and rang it like a wet towel. Like, it rang my heart so much. Like, there were a few times where I just had to pause it and just walk away and just process what I just watched, and I'm like, come on, like, how is he gonna do it?
Yeah.
Like, how is he gonna do it? I don't know how he's gonna do it. Like it's, I think this series, at least in my opinion, does a good job of not introducing like Deus Ex Machinas. It and I don't want to rip too hard on Sword Art Online, because there are moments that I really love with that series. There are just some moments in there where I feel like Sword Art Online just kind of drags stuff out just a little too much, where they could have just wrapped up a problem like a little shorter than what they did. But like, they just want to throw one or two more characters into a moment just to make it more dramatic, and and then you're just like, okay, well at this point, what's like, how are they going to fix it? And then it's just like, ta-da, it's fixed. And like it's like occasionally that happens. But with ReZero, you're left questioning, like, okay, like, he keeps failing and he keeps dying, coming back. Like, how is he going to fix these problems?
Yeah.
And instead of like it being really a Deus Ex Machina where it comes out of nowhere, they do a very good job of just making the solutions just feel natural. Like just it feels natural every time he comes back. He learns something new about these people, so like he's able to use that to his advantage. But like some of the solutions, they just pop up. Like it's just like as he's going to do something, maybe this time through his reset, like there are people there that he didn't see before, and he's like, oh hey, look at like what's going on with you guys, and they're like, oh, we're doing this, and it's just like, oh cool, well you can be a part of my solution then. And it and in a sense, like it's also kind of like a big murder mystery too, because like each reset he learns like a little bit more, and they do a very good job of having the main character Subaru be like a good stand-in for the audience. Because at the very least, like that's how I feel. Like I feel like he's a very good example of kind of like being that stand-in for the audience, because you see everything from his perspective. Like you kind of like you experience the whole story from his perspective and what he's experiencing, and I like that. I like that they only leak in just a little bit of information at a time.
Yeah. Because
it's exactly like I've said before. I love it when a series gives you the puzzle pieces and then leaves it to you to put it together to figure out what's really going on, instead of just dropping the puzzle pieces and then just doing the puzzle for you.
What did you think about Reinhard?
The guy with the red hair, right?
Yeah, red hair knight.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen with him.
Oh, dude, man,
I'm really interested. I think it was in Fairy Tail. They had like something like very similar to this with one of the characters later on. He's got a sword that just doesn't come unsheathed. Mm-hmm. Like he just has a sword that's just like, no, like the sword just like doesn't unsheath itself, like unless like it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Like as if like the sword has like a mind of its own, or if it has like some sort of like curse or spell on it that like prevents it from doing so. But I like that. I like that he basically just has a club. Like he just has like a really fancy looking club that he just swings around. Mm-hmm. And because what that does is it really gauges the story. It gauges the threat level of the story, because you see everything through the main character, he's very weak. He's not very strong. He can't really fight very well. He's more of a planner than anything. And so like when you see all the threats like compared to what he can handle, you're like, oh man, like that looks bad. Oh, that looks really bad. How is he gonna fix that? And then even then, Reinhardt's like sword just doesn't come unsheathed. Yeah. So it's just like at what level does his sword get unsheathed? Because to me, that's a really good measure for the audience to be told like, hey, this is like it's serious now. Like all that other stuff before was intense, but this is serious. Like
I will say I don't know what part you're officially at, but there's a part where you see him unsheath it one time.
I'm on episode 13, so I'll say that.
I don't think it's been unsheathed yet for you, but you'll see it.
It's still unsheathed, but
yeah.
I love it. It really is just literally just they hand you puzzle pieces like a little bit at a time. And it's not even like necessarily that they'll hand you puzzle pieces like in the same corner. Like they might hand you like a few puzzle pieces like on one side of the puzzle, and then they'll hand you a few pieces on the other side of the puzzle. And so like so eventually you'll just have like kind of like a splotchy puzzle that you're slowly putting together. And then eventually you'll get those puzzle pieces that'll connect all the dots, and you're like,
and even to your analogy of puzzle pieces, they'll even sometimes give you a corner piece in the center, just to see what you'll do with it, because it's like one of those where it's just like, all right, well, if I had revival by death, I would do this, and then the character does that, and it doesn't turn out to be that way at all. You're like, okay, so what I thought was going to go there does not go there. Let's go ahead and put it somewhere else. It's definitely a very well written show. My critique on it, and this is just a personal critique for me, I hate how much Subaru cries. I absolutely hate that.
Well, does he cry more than Midoriya?
Yeah, Yeah, I think he cries more than Midoriya. He cries
I don't think
so.
so.
I think he does, man. He cries so much throughout the entire series.
I I think I've just ignored that and maybe I've overlooked that and just said, hey, if I've died X amount of times, like if I've had all of this really gory stuff, because it does get gory too.
Yeah, definitely nothing for
It doesn't
children.
shy away. Yeah, it does not shy away from that. It's like and what I do appreciate about it is that it does like have a really good back and forth of like it will get very it can be very lighthearted and it can be fun to watch, but then like it will shift to a more like a much darker, more like sinister tone.
It gets pretty demented too.
Yeah, it gets really demented.
It gets crazy.
And then
man.
yeah, like their limbs flying, they're like people just getting their guts ripped. Like it's nuts. But then like it will like eventually like kind of like calm down and it will like get into like a slice of life episode. And because the episodes, at least in season 1, are an hour long, it gives it so much time to breathe. It gives it a lot of development. And maybe at least for me, like I've just been ignoring it, like how much he's been crying. Like at least like I've noticed recently, just because he's just like he's really going through a rough time right now. But like I think I'm just like, you know what? He keeps dying. That hurts.
Yeah.
He keeps dying like over and over again. Like that would hurt.
Yeah.
Like I'd cry too. And especially like when you get to know people, especially like when you're really trying to make friends with people and you're trying to get to know them, and you really and like you've got like over the course of like 5 days or so, you get to know this person, and then you die on the 5th day, and you get sent back 5 days, like, and you do that several times. Like now you've had 20 days to get to know this person, or like however long it's been. But like for them, like they don't even know who you are.
Right.
So like I will say that like that can get a little frustrating. Like that can get a little frustrating, especially I'll just say this, spoiler for part of his ability. Spoiler, I want to say it one more time, spoiler. He can't tell anyone about it. Like, and it's like a little thing, like if you don't want to know that, that's fine. But like he can't tell anyone about it. Like anytime he tries to tell someone about it, like it squeezes his heart. Like and so I love that they do that.
Not all the time.
I'm not gonna talk about that. But there are consequences. Let's just say that there are consequences to him telling people.
Yes.
And more often than not, he can't tell people. He can't tell anyone that he has revival by death, because because it hurts him too. And it's just like, and that sucks. Like if and because like especially like if it's with people that you know and people that you like I mean just picture like you and I hanging out. Like I mean geez, we've known each other for how many years?
Quite a few, yeah.
Like quite a few. Like picture like if you just kept dying and then coming back, and then like you and I, like to you, like we've hung out for several decades, and for me I'm just like, oh dude, I just know you. Like I'm cool, like you're one of my best friends, but like I've only known you for like a few years. Like it's one of those things. And I think for me, like I love it when I see a series just tear someone's psyche apart. I don't know what it is about me. I don't know if that makes me a little twisted. I love seeing someone's psyche just get ripped apart, especially when that person can change, like especially when that person has room for growth. Like if the tearing apart of their psyche like is for a reason to make them a much stronger character mentally, to like maybe like get a message across, like if they're that stubborn to the point where you have to just completely just break their mind just for them to see the mistakes that they're making, I kind of like that. I like that it in a sense takes it to zero for them. It rips their psyche part down to zero and helps them rebuild back up. And because to me, that's just a really good sign of character growth.
Agreed. I do agree. I definitely am very excited to see what more of this anime has to offer and see where it's going to take us and go. For now, and we'll probably circle back around this, especially when we talk more all-day anime segments and stuff like that. If you had to rate where you're currently at on a scale of 1 to 10 for the show, what would it be for you?
Oh, geez, 10.
It'd be 10 for you.
I don't throw that out lightly. I don't throw it out lightly. I've got to say, well, like if I had to be like because like 10 is like me like getting a little excited. If I had to like look at it critically, I'd be like, okay, like maybe it's like an 8.5 to 9 for me. But like at least like with right now, I'm really enjoying it. Like it is like I'm watching it before work. I'm watching it on my breaks. I'm watching it like whenever I have a chance to, because it is so good. It is, the story is very captivating. It's very interesting because they don't tell you a whole lot about the world. They really don't, like they really do a lot of showing and not as much telling. And like when a show is just like, oh, let me just explain everything on how this world works. I'm like, well, great. Now I'm not as interested.
Right.
Like because like I'm not a huge fan of that. Like I can put up with it. Sometimes it's necessary. Like sometimes I need those info dumps just to be able to get to the good stuff. But I'm still not a fan of info dumps. I would rather them take their time to build the world up, to really show the audience like, hey, this is the world, but this is this character's experience in this world. And he's just trying to fit in. He's trying to find his way through this life that he's now in. And it's interesting. I love it. Personally, it is one of my top 5 all day, every day.
All day anime. There you go.
All day anime.
I was about to say I was very much where you're at before. It was a solid 10 for me. That rating did drop as the series went on, not because it got bad. It definitely did not get bad or anything like that. But as I'm reflecting on more of the outcome and reflecting on the interaction and the relationships that happen, that's a huge one for me. The relationships that's kind of portrayed. I love some of those relationships, and others just like, what are you thinking? Like again, I will go back to Rem. Like, what are you thinking? But so I would say for me, it's like an 8.5, 9. I would still up there, still a high top anime. Maybe not enough to crack my top 5, but I would put it in my top 10 for sure. So there you guys go. If you guys need yourself to get into a new anime and haven't started ReZero yet, highly recommend that.
I'm currently watching it on HBO Max. Surprisingly, like HBO has like quite a bit of anime on it that I actually didn't know they had. So I'm watching it on HBO Max. Do they have it on Crunchyroll?
Yes, they do. Crunchyroll and Funimation.
I don't think they have it on Funimation, do they?
They have it on Funimation, but it's like one of those where it's like we have the clip, we have we have the section for it, and when it comes, whether it's for a limited time or whatever the case is, then it's on our channel. Because they did the same thing for if you remember the movie called Your Name. Yeah, so I actually saw that movie on Crunchyroll, but I'm not on Funimation, but it was only on Funimation for like a very small time period, because every single time I try to go back and rewatch it, it's just the director's cut. It doesn't show you anything else. So it shows you the behind the scenes and stuff, but so it's doing one of those. Seven Deadly Sins is the same way. It shows the art clip for Funimation, but it's not actually on Funimation, at least not right now.
But yeah, definitely give that show a watch. Attack on Titan, season 4, man.
Yes, man. Yeah. Now, before we get inside season 4, season 1, 2, and 3. How has that development experience been for you? This is one again that we definitely don't want to spoil for you guys, so we're not going to give any major spoilers. Like we're not going to tell you what some of those secrets are that kind of happen that you find out in season 1. We're not going to tell you the secrets that we find out about season 2, but as far as character development, as far as the journey in general, the unveiling of stuff, how has that been for you? What has been going on there for you?
Let me tell you, it has been a wild ride. I watched Attack on Titan season 1 as it was coming out weekly. So like every week I had to wait for the new episode of Attack on Titan, and I was super into it. Season 1 was really good. Season 2, because they took a 4-year break, because they were like, hey, let's make a chibi high school anime, and let's also like make a movie that talks about the whole first season, I'm just like, you know what, we're not going to get it.
I will. The one thing I will commend that movie on, and there's only one thing I'll commend that movie on.
Not the live action.
Yeah, no, the live action.
Oh, you're talking about the live action. I wasn't even talking about that.
Yeah, there is one thing I will commend the movie on, and that is they brought the original voice actor, Bryce Papenbrook, to play Kid. Mm-hmm. That is the only thing that's good about that movie. Everything else is trash. Everything else is absolute garbo. Do not watch it.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Like it's definitely an uncanny valley kind of look at it, but I say give it a watch after you've watched the anime. Like if you want to watch it just for goofs,
I don't know if go ahead and watch do that. They ruined Mikasa. They ruined Mikasa big time.
They ruined it.
I'll be right back. Go ahead and take over real fast. I'll be right back.
Very good. I hate to compare it to Dragon Ball Evolution because like they didn't twist it that hard. Like they weren't making Goku a high school student with those cars, but it's definitely good. Cat, are you jumping on my door? My goodness, guys, I'm so sorry. My cat, she is lovely. She's just very needy. But yeah, like Attack on Titan, the first season does a very good job setting up the world. It does a very good job setting up the world to just show that like at least like in these last rings of humanity behind all of these walls is like the last of humanity. And with these Titans, like there's that big mystery of like who are the Titans? What even are the Titans? Like why is it that like they just send people out of the walls to see what's beyond the walls, and then some of them come back. They'll send like 100 people out, and then they'll have like maybe like 30 people come back. Like their numbers get decimated all the time, and it's not until they have the main character who is, again, spoiler, sure. I mean, this anime's been out there, so you had time. The main character Kirito is a Titan himself, and he can change into a Titan. So it kind of like brings up this interesting question of, you know, what are these things? Like if we have a human who can change into Titans, then what does that mean for all the Titans that are out there? Like does that mean that they can all change? Can they not change? Why is it that like even some of the abnormals, like why are there certain abnormal Titans? And then they start to, for me, what I really like is they actually expand the backstories of some of the side characters. Like a little bit with Connie, like they do Connie like just enough, just to be like, oh hey, like here's where you're from, here's something that happens with your family. Even Sasha, like they even show like her background, where she comes from. What lifestyle she had before she joined the military. And I like that. I really like that. I don't like it when a show kind of like shoves characters in your face and says, you're supposed to like this person. Like this character. Mm-hmm. I don't like to be forced to like a character. I want to understand why I should like a character. Mm-hmm. Like, if a character is important, I'll pick up on the fact that they're important. But by like you telling me more about this person. So if they have an experience that I'm supposed to know about, that's supposed to be significant, then I'm going to want that. But and I think we've said this on the last podcast, the first 3 seasons, like if you take out like the first chunk of season 1 and then like the last episode of season 3, all of that craziness takes place within the span of like 4 months.
Yeah.
Like 4 months. And I like that they actually like they do have like these time skips, because like it does show like within this span of time, like it shows like how freaking nuts everything was, but it's not like this long drawn out war. And then what they do is they have these time skips where, especially between season 3 and season 4, they have like I think a 4-year time skip, unless you're counting the year time skip with the last episode of season 3. So I think that would technically make 5. Depending on where you're counting from. But like I like that they compact so much, and it didn't feel like forced either. Like it felt like it was very much each event flowed very seamlessly into the next thing.
Yeah.
Where like it didn't feel like, okay, like we're gonna go do this. Yay, we figured out what to do, and now we're just gonna sit here and wait for the next thing to happen. It felt very everything felt very interconnected. Where
I agree
the
with. I was supposed to say I agree with all of that except for the transition from 3 to 4, because when I saw,
I like
I didn't when I saw 4,
I
when I
like
saw the beginning of it, you didn't see any of the original characters, which was fine. But that led me to believe that that was maybe like back in the past, and so I'm going back into it because they did that once before with Grisha, so I'm expecting it to kind of be like one of those scenarios. Maybe it's going to unveil a little bit more of what had happened back in that time period, and then only to find out a couple of episodes later that that wasn't the past. That was actually the future. It just wasn't explained that well, and so that's why I was just like, huh. I mean, in hindsight, I like it, but at the moment, in the moment, I was like, what's going on here? I don't know any of these people, and it's just like, what? Like, then you see a familiar character who looks a lot older, and it's just like you're expecting that particular character that's probably their dad. That's what I was expecting. But then after that, like they had mentioned their name by name, and then you start seeing more of their interaction. As you guys can see, I'm avoiding gender specifics, so I won't have any spoilers for you guys. But yeah, then they announce them by name, and it's just like, okay, so that is that person. What? And that's when you find out later on that that's actually the future. And then today's episode, what are your predictions for today's episode as far as because it's going to be almost impossible to talk about without spoilers, but and I think we can do it without spoilers. But what do you think? Do you think that this is going to be a new attack, or do you think that this is a method to finally once and for all come to terms of peace? And I'm talking in super and code, but Gravity knows exactly what I'm talking about.
You know what? I feel like with the way that this series is, it is very hard to predict what's going to happen. They like every time like you think you know what's going to happen, they pull an Akira Toriyama and they're like, "Oh no, that's not going to happen at all." Where it's hard. I have no idea because it really could go either way. It could just be with what's going on right now with this most recent episode. I haven't seen it yet. It very well could be that just the poop hits the fan. It really could be that it just hits the fan and things go nuts. But at the same time, it could also just be a silent warning. It could just be that silent warning to just be like, hey, just so you know, this is going on. It could go nuts right now. It could get real nuts right now. But I feel like for the purposes, if I had to pick one, I feel like if it's for the purposes of trying to let the series breathe, let the story breathe, let these characters just kind of do their thing, I feel like it's going to be more of a silent warning than anything. I feel like it's just going to be a silent warning, and then it's going to go back and focus on these new characters that we're seeing, as well as some of the old cast who's kind of over there with them. Like I feel like it's going to go back to them, but now that they've received this silent warning, it's now going to be like, okay, like, well, what are these new characters going to do? Something that I really like with season 4 is that it kind of takes season 1 and it kind of flips it on its head. Like, and it's just so, like, you know, like instead of focusing on the main cast who is being invaded, it is now kind of like flipping that around a little bit, and it's you're getting to know the other side a little bit. You're getting to expand the story. So that's at least my prediction. What are you thinking?
Well, first, what up there, Glorious Zeus? Very, very much. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Right now, we just got done talking about ReZero a little bit, and just our experiences with that. Now we're talking about Attack on Titan. The new episode dropped today. If you're familiar with anime and or watch Attack on Titan, and so yeah, so no spoilers. We're not going to give any spoilers. So if you are watching it right now, no need to worry about that. But we are kind of talking about in code what our thoughts are. I think that all hell's about to break loose.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a terms of peace. I think all hell's about to break loose, just because they're at a point right now to where they're leading up to a banquet. They're leading up to it looks like a new ruler for the particular area that we're talking about.
If we keep going, I'll be right back.
Yeah. They're talking. They're leading up to a new leader. They're leading up to a new scenario like that. But at the same time, a certain two individuals end up meeting, and I don't think it's going to be a silent warning. I think it's going to be something that they're just going to break. It's just going to all hell's about to break loose. I think that more people are going to end up dying from this. I think that there's going to be a lot of casualties. Maybe if no one dies, maybe someone loses an arm like a certain character did in the earlier series or something. But we'll just have to kind of see. So if you guys have yet again to check out Attack on Titan, highly recommend it. It's on Funimation, Crunchyroll, and YouTube, Netflix. If you are watching it on Netflix, it's only going to give you season 1. So I would highly recommend to subscribe to Crunchyroll or Funimation so you can get the full-fledged experience on that.
I will say that with Netflix, I love Netflix, like especially for how long it's been around, and especially for all the content they have, because they have like a lot of really good anime come out there. It's just that they kind of stop at season 1, and a lot of that I'm sure has to do with licensing and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's so frustrating to get an anime that's in really good quality that you have with the subscription that you're paying for, and then like you get through season 1 and you're like, oh my god, like there's like 2, 3, 4 seasons to this, like I want to watch the rest of it, and they're like, no. Yeah. And I'm like, well, where can I watch the rest of it? And they're like, oh well, if you have this obscure streaming service. I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to get another one.
Yeah.
Like it is kind of annoying, but yeah, give it a watch, please give it a watch. It is really great.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think on a Netflix platform, it's just really hardcore inside that licensing. For the past 6 years, literally for the past 6 years, maybe even a little bit longer, Attack on Titan only had 1 season, and it's not even in dub, which dub has been out for a while now. So it's just like I don't know what they're doing as far as their contractual agreements with their companies, but yeah, it's just something that we would like to see kind of come to where we get more up-to-date animes on Netflix. But in the meantime, if you guys want a good anime, definitely make sure you guys are checking that out for Attack on Titan on Crunchyroll or Funimation. Your hype level, because we already know that this is a 10 out of 10 anime for probably both of us. Your hype level for today's episode, where is it at for you there, Gravity?
Well, I already had like a minor spaz attack when you told me that they had an episode released today, because I forgot what days they release episodes. And so I've just been like really antsy this week, like checking. I'm like, is it today? No. Is it today? No. Is it today? And then eventually I'm just like, okay, it will come out when it comes out. Like I'll get back to it. And then as soon as you told me today, I was like, oh, I gotta talk about anime, but I want to watch anime. I'm super excited for it. I'm really excited. To kind of touch on the next thing though, I will say, the fiance and I just watched episode 1 of season 2 of The Promised Neverland. Yeah, we just watched episode 1 of season 2 of The Promised Neverland. She decided to continue reading the manga into season 2 territory, so she's reading the manga a lot more farther ahead than I am with it. So now the roles are kind of reversed, where I'm normally the one who reads ahead, where I'm just kind of like looking at her like every time we're watching anime, I'm just like, just like I'll just like instead of like watching the screen, I'll just watch her reaction just to be like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
Here it comes. It's gonna be really great. Now she's kind of like looking at me like,
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's really fun, man. Have you got through season 1, right?
Yeah, got through season 1. Watched the first episode of season 2. I think season 2 actually, episode 2 for season 2. I think that came out today as well.
See, I need to check, and that's through Crunchyroll, right?
Yeah. No. Actually, no. That
Oh.
one's actually Funimation.
Really?
Yeah, normally, and in case anyone that's listening right now watching live, normally Crunchyroll comes out first, and then Funimation is slightly delayed. This particular one was flipped. Funimation's actually out first, and Crunchyroll. I have yet to actually see that come out on Crunchyroll yet. Yeah.
Oh, I'm only seeing episode 1 of season 2 right now.
For Funimation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me double check. But yeah, so with that being said, the premise, and I know we talked about this last week, but the premise for Promised Neverland is that you have a home full of orphans that are living and trying to be adopted, and once they get to a certain age, they go off to go with their adopted families. Oh, so they think. Particular secrets come out as our 3 main protagonists, Emma, Ray, and Norman, kind of are trying to deliver something to one of the kids that was sent off to go live with their new family, and a secret came out, and it changed everything to the point to where those kids, they're really in danger. Every single one of them's in danger, and it's just like snap. Like, how are they going to escape this place? Because where they're at is not a good place. It's not a good facility for them to live at. To the point to where, again, they need to escape. So
I'd say it's a very unhealthy environment for them.
yeah. So it's just like, what is about to happen on this show, and the way that season 2 started is redunculous. It is so crazy how it started, and it was just like, snap, man. This is some sweet action. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm seeing the same thing that you're seeing. Funimation has it there for season 2, episode 1. I'm gonna take a look real fast on here. And
this was a series I think that came out in like 2018. So
I think so, yeah.
It's been like rough, like depending on when it came out. Like this is like 3 years like later.
Mm-hmm.
So like to me, like those are always the anime I get really hyped for. Like personally, I'm more of a fan of My Hero's release schedule, where I like that they're just like, hey, we're just gonna do it in chunks, and we're gonna do it just like on a yearly basis. Just that way, it gives me something to look forward to every year. But if the production quality is at the level that some of these shows are at, like with especially with The Promised Neverland, like if the production quality is up there, if they're like, hey, we need more than a year to get all of this together to bring the picture that we want to give to you, then I'm like, dude, go for it. Mm-hmm. Go for it. If you can take 2-3 years to like get something out just to make sure that it is going to be at the level of quality that you want it to be at and that the fans expect it to be at, please, by all means, please go and do that. Like, you don't, like, the last thing you want to do is have a really amazing first season and then you end up just getting some like really booty episodes.
Yeah,
where like the animation's booty, where the music's booty, where just the voice direction is really booty, and that has a lot to do with just time constraints more often than not.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just let the series breathe.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I do. I like the rollout that Promised Neverland's kind of doing. To be honest with you, they came out in 2018. You had a full year to kind of get caught up or hear about the anime, because I feel like a lot of people still haven't heard about it yet. And then you start off this year, 2021, in a very epic way where the children are in a predicament that they have to survive through. And it's just like, this is crazy. So, yeah. So we're, I mean, I know that you haven't read ahead, which is good. I'm on the same level with you. After watching the first episode, do you think that their, we'll call them predecessors, are friend or foe?
I want to say friend. I want to say friend. I feel like with this kind of series, it's one of those like you like just be careful of who you trust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm gonna say friend right now, because like I so far like it's the first picture that we've seen of the outside world, like outside of this orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, it looks really cool. Like it has like flying fit, like some like glowing flying fish. Like it's got like really like weird looking plants. Like definitely like the outside world is not like the world that they had inside. It's not the world that we know.
Mm-hmm.
And so the contrast is very interesting. It really takes you on a ride. So I want to say friend. For right now, I'm going to say friend. But what do you think? Like, do you think that their new acquaintances are friend or foe?
I agree with you. I think they're friend, but I think that there's going to be a plot twist down the road that's going to make them look foe. That's what I think is going to happen. And then, now again, granted, this is one of those Attack on Titan-esque animes where it's not really easily predictable. There's some stuff that, there's some stuff that you can't predict, but then there's also some stuff where it's just like, these kids have absolutely no hope, do they? Like, these guys the whole thing was planned out and designed to where that's practically a prison. It's an outside prison, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, but I think that the scenario that they're in right now, I think those individuals are friend. There might be a decision that they have to make that turns them foe temporarily, or might have the appearance of foe. But I think ultimately they do have good intentions in mind, because they really could have slain all the kids right then and there. They really could have. So I think that's one thing to kind of consider. Which again, maybe they are foe, and the timing just wasn't right because there's a certain setup they have to go through. Who knows? But yeah, I think that they're a friend with a few episodes of them turning foe. So yeah. One thing I did want to talk about before we go ahead and jump aside these hidden gems on here. So if you guys have yet to check it out, you guys already know about the Raise Energy, reppsports.com. Type in ALWT Gaming at checkout when you guys are trying to get your Raise Energy. My pack is actually on its way now. I'm very excited to have it because I've been low. But anyway, if you type in ALWT Gaming at checkout, you guys can get your workout your workout supplements, your workout powders, water supplements, your Raise Energy, which has no sugar in it. And you guys get shirts. You guys get Raise Energy merchandise shirts, which is actually pretty dope, to be honest with you. Hoodies, hats, the whole nine. Type in ALWT Gaming out, check out, get 15% off. That's 15% off. And we do have a website. So if you guys are wanting to check out continuous gaming content, gaming news, or even throw up some stuff of your own, make sure you guys check out the website. There's a lot of stuff that you guys can do there. All of our social media platforms are on there. Literally, the website is www.alwtgaming.com. That's literally it. So alwtgaming.com. Go ahead and check it out. Think you guys will like what you see there. Merchandise for sale and all that good stuff. The whole nine. Have fun. Surf the web. You know what I mean? So, but as we kind of go into our hidden gems, I classify this one as a hidden gem because I don't think many people have grown hip to it just yet. It's a newer type anime. I think it's going to build a lot of traction.
Think so?
Yeah. I think it's a newer type. Yeah, I don't think a whole lot of people really know.
It's
about
definitely
this.
a newer type.
Yeah. I was about to say, I don't think a whole lot of people really know about this, to be completely honest with you. At least not for the United States. I'm not sure exactly sure how the Japanese culture and Chinese culture is, but right now, I have a strong suspicion that if I went around and told people about Jujutsu Kaisen, 90% of them would be looking at me sideways.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you start talking to people in the anime community, at least, like for the most part, I feel like they might know it. But if you guys haven't watched it, definitely really great series.
Yep. And just a little backstory about this is a little bit lengthy, but it's the plot line that's going on right now. Yuji Itadori is an unnaturally fit high school student living in Sendai with his grandfather. He regularly avoids the track team due to his aversion to athletics, despite his innate talent for the sport. Instead, he chooses to join a cult research club where he's able to relax and hang out with seniors, and leave school by 5 p.m. to visit his grandfather in the hospital. Which, by the way, that club is really just like, they're pretty much like looking for spirits and demons and stuff. While he's on his deathbed, his grandfather instills 2 powerful messages with Yuji: always help people, and die surrounded by people. After his grandfather's death, Yuji interprets these messages as one statement: everyone deserves a proper death. He is then confronted by Mugami Fushiguro, a sorcerer who informs him of his high-grade curse charm talisman at the school that Yuji recently made contact with. His friends at the occult club unsealed the talisman, a rotting finger, which attracted the curses to the school. Creatures that are brought about through negative emotions are strengthened by consuming magical powers present. Ooh, I messed that up. Hold on. Bam. There we go. Powers present in the sorcerers or such charms. Unable to defeat the curses due to his lack of magical power, Yuji swallows the finger to protect Mugami and his friends, and becomes the host of Sukuna, a powerful curse. Due to Sukuna's evil nature, all sorcerers are required to exorcise him, and by extension Yuji, immediately. However, despite being possessed, Yuji is still able to regain control over his body for the most part. Seeing this, Satoru Gojo, which you guys will find him out at a later time, he's pretty much Kakashi, Mugami's teacher, decided to take him to Tokyo Metropolitan Magic Technical College to propose a plan to superiors. Postpone Yuji's death sentence until he consumes all of Sukuna's fingers, allowing them to kill him once and for all. So that's the plot line of it. Where do you stand with Jujutsu Kaisen?
So I'm going to just be honest and throw this out there right now. I haven't seen the anime yet. Mainly just because I know it's on Crunchyroll, and I've just been really dragging my feet with getting a subscription to Crunchyroll. But I do have HBO Max, and it is on HBO Max. So I'm going to be checking it out there very soon. But I've actually been reading the manga lately. And based on what I've seen so far and I've read so far in the manga, I'm really liking it. It's really good. For me personally, I'm getting a lot of Naruto vibes. I'm getting a lot of signals that to me just kind of compare to Naruto, and not in the, thankfully not in the believe it kind of sense. It's just more so kind of like just setting up the story. Like you have like three students who are learning to do like extra special abilities, learning to do stuff, and they have a teacher who is pretty much Kakashi. So it's giving me a lot of that. If anything, it feels like a more modern day laid back version of Naruto. But from what I've seen so far, the premise is really interesting. What is his name? Panda? I think his name is just Panda.
Yeah, that big. Yeah.
Yeah, I love, dude, like that character. I just love it. They're just like, and here's Panda. Just like, cool. It's just a talking panda. And I'm like, that's awesome. I love that. Like it's just one of those concepts that's just so silly that they're just like it to an extent they don't take itself too seriously, but it's really interesting where they're just like, oh yeah, like demons or spirits will want to eat those fingers to get stronger. So he's like, okay, and just eats it himself. Where you're just like, why would you do that?
And it's very curious too how some of those animes work, because like they really specialize a body part. For Dragon Ball Z, it's hair. For Naruto, it's eyes. For One Piece, I think it's just his limbs and stuff for the most part. It's like they really
For the most part.
specialize. Yeah, they really specialize and hone in as far as like a special strength or skill or ability or something like that. Kind of gets implemented from a particular body part. So I always thought that was kind
Yeah,
of
like
interesting.
yeah, because they use because like typically like a lot of anime will try to use some sort of symbolism to kind of show a transformation or change within a character, just to signal to the audience, hey, this person currently now is not the same person that you saw before. They are stronger now, they are smarter now, they are faster, whatever, what have you. Uh, but like whenever he goes into his Sukuna, what is it, Sukuna?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like whenever he goes into that mode, he just gets covered in tattoos,
yep.
and I think that is super cool.
He gets
I know
additional eyes
Boruto.
on his cheek too.
Yeah, like I know Boruto has been doing something similar. I quite frankly have not been keeping up with Boruto. I've heard kind of mixed things about it. I mean, but if you want us to talk about it, let us know. I'll watch it. I've seen all the way up through Shippuden, so I'm caught up at least with there. So if you want us to talk about that, let us know. We'll talk about some Boruto with you. But yeah, I love the tattoos. I love how he just gets covered in tattoos at where he just gets like a twisted smile, and you're just like, oh, this is good.
Mm,
This is good. I like it. I love the concept. Again,
yeah.
it's one of those things where they're just kind of slowly giving you breadcrumbs
Mm,
on what the world is, as a whole is like, and I like that. I like that it's not giving it all to you all at once, but they do have like a few like balls to the wall moments where you're just like, oh, like this is where it's going, like this is what they're gonna do,
yeah.
like with what they do with the spatial realms. I can't remember the exact name of it because I haven't been keeping up with the manga
Dominion.
lately. Yeah, yeah, it's like I love the concept of that. Um, so it's to me, yeah, it's definitely a gem for sure. This show is definitely a gem. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's like I'm gonna be watching it just to catch up on the animation, because so far from what I've read with the manga, the story itself is really good,
Mm,
but the animation quality looks really good. It looks really pretty. I'm interested to see like if that. I'm interested to see like how good the animation quality is for sure. I'm interested in the soundtrack. Like I really want to see what they're doing with that. I hope they don't do what they did with Super, like with the very beginning episodes, just put music wherever they want to.
yeah.
But I'm really curious. From what I've seen so far, from the little clips of the anime I've seen, it looks really pretty.
Mm.
So I'm definitely going to be catching up on that soon.
Yeah, it's I definitely like the plot line. I really like the premise of it again. I mean, plot, relationship, and action are huge things for me when it comes to animes. I've watched enough animes to kind of realize that I can open up my mind a little bit more, and I keep giving it the Final Fantasy VII try. And if it passes that test, then I usually consider it a good or amazing anime. And this is one that I didn't have to really give it that test, because from the get go it just picked straight up. It was awesome. I don't know if there's going to be any particular love interest in this show. Uh, it looks like there's potential to be one, but I'm not sure if there's going to be an actual love interest in this show. And I say that with the assumption that if there is a love interest, it's probably going to adopt the methods of Bleach, to where it could have been Orihime or it could have been Rukia or something like that. I think that's what I think that's the closest vibe I can really get as far as that goes. Yeah, like I said, the plot's definitely really good. Gojo, it's just he's one heck of a dude. That's pretty much Kakashi Sensei.
Dude,
Uh,
Gojo's like he's if Kakashi was just like he had a little bit more swagger to him.
exactly.
Like as if like he's like a Kakashi that just goes around just like, yeah, what's up? Like I am better than you.
Yeah, and he
Like
knows it.
yeah, it's the confidence in that man. Like Akashi's just very like, yeah, all right, we're gonna go do this. Like that's fine. Like
Mm-hmm.
this version of him, just like yeah, it's like yeah, I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just sit down. Sit your butt down.
And when he kind of comes inside the scene, and you guys will see this if you guys watch even the second episode. 7 episodes really, really turned up, and you guys got to see a little bit what he could do. Same thing going on later on in the season. But it makes you wonder how strong this guy really is, because in the second episode he does something that just completely puts a high level demon in their place. And then the season goes on. You have the main characters fighting demons, all that good stuff. Then there's an area to where there's a special class demon that is just annihilating everybody, absolutely annihilating them. And then one of the former demons comes back and takes that demon out with ease, like with super ease, saying that he was weak. So it's just like, and you lost to Gojo. So it's just like, how strong is Gojo? It's just very, very, it's very crazy to think about that. And I think that power scaling is very on par with Baki to me, but it makes more sense. It's more together. It's more organized in Jujutsu Kaisen than it is in Baki. And Baki doesn't make any sense to me at all. How the inmates are, it's absolute terrors in the first season, and then in the second season they're like non-existent. I was like, what? Like, what just happened? So that part I really didn't.
I think there's some nuance with Baki. I'm not super familiar with it. Isn't there like a prequel series to Baki?
I mean, there may be. They did show They show flashbacks of him in a previous tournament, so it probably is. But the way that they start this off, because the inmates in Baki was like on Netflix. That is, the inmates on Baki on Netflix was just announced originally. Then you have no idea who these inmates are. They weren't in any previous series or whatever. But the thing that made them like ironic is that they're abnormally strong, they're abnormally fast and talented at fighting, and they all decided to break out of prison. They decided to break out of prison all at the same time, and they're on different parts of the world. And they all left a message behind where it says, "I want to taste defeat." So it's like one of those, like, these guys are pretty BA. Like, they're really strong. Like, you have one person, Dorian, who was trying to be electrocuted to death, and the doctor didn't wait long enough. Even though he was electrocuted for like 15 minutes straight, that's plenty of time for your average human. And he came out and didn't wait long enough, and Dorian woke up and killed everybody. It's just stuff like that. Like like the power scaling on that was ridiculous, to where the point in the first season you were nervous for some of these main characters to run into the inmates. In the second season, all that went out the window. It was almost like that the inmates were normal henchmen. So it was just like, and in third season they were like kind of piecing it back together, and now it kind of brings it back almost to a point of balance, but it still feels off balance because of how they kind of portrayed it. It was straight up 100% action. So that's the interesting part about that. There's a few exceptions, like Baki's dad, Mr. Oliver. Those guys obviously are absolutely strong, and it makes sense of why they would make the inmates look like nothing. Like, that's how strong they are. But then you have other characters that came across these inmates before, struggled horribly against these inmates, and then in the second season they're taking on with ease. So it's just like, it doesn't make any sense there. But Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't really have that issue, but I am seeing a power scale to where you're just like, you're expecting this, and then the next level goes up here, but then you have Gojo who's all the way up here, and you're just like, snap, man, Gojo is really a dog. Gojo really is a dog.
And that was kind of something that we saw from Kakashi from like near the beginning of Naruto. Mm-hmm. Like, he kind of like his power scale like really kind of was like, for its time, especially like in the time of that story, was very high up there, like where you didn't even know exactly where his ceiling was. Mm-hmm. Like, and to be fully honest, like, you didn't really see his ceiling until like Shippuden. Like, maybe like sometime like mid Shippuden, like late Shippuden. Like, I guess like he does, like Kakashi like does pass out from using his Sharingan too much during the bridge arc.
The Mangekyo.
Yeah. So like, I guess there is that where it's like, oh, if he uses it too much. But like down the line, it almost like doesn't matter how much he uses it. Like, he's just able to, or at the very least, use it just a little bit more strategically with his with his which you know what? Yeah, it's his lightning blade. I hesitate to call it Chidori because I think that was only Sasuke who called it Chidori.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's his lightning blade. Was definitely for me like a highlight of like, oh crap, like he can copy people's moves and he has that.
Mm.
And he's nuts, man. Like in Gojo, like especially like a fight that he has is just like, oh. Like he just breaks your mind a little bit with like some of the rationale, like to like him explaining his power, and you're like, oh, that's a little like it's nuts. It's definitely nuts, but
So-
it's a really fun time.
So if you had to pin those two, Kakashi Sensei and Gojo, in a fight, who do you think would win?
Oh man. Well, depends on which Kakashi it is. Because I think as of now, I don't think Kakashi has either of his Sharingan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think
Are you
he
talking
ha- I
about
think
Boruto
he's-
or are you talking about Naruto?
I think like I think it's like by the end of Shippuden, like maybe into Boruto. I don't think Kakashi has either of his Sharingan anymore. Like I don't think he does. And I mean, like, geez, like it's been forever since I've seen that, but yeah, like, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he has either of them anymore, but he's still a force to be reckoned with. Like even just one, but like for a little bit, like, he does get both of them. He does get two, and when he does get two, like he has his Susanoo, he has his ability to warp between dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, like that's kind of like what the domains are, is just bringing, it's like wrapping, a space into, like bringing someone into a domain. But I'm curious to see like whether or not if Kakashi was in, I feel like if Kakashi was in Gojo's domain, I don't think it would be that simple. I think that if we're talking, if we have to put them in the same realm, like I feel like Kakashi might be able to copy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so like if he's able to copy his domain ability, like then how does that equal things out? Like can you do that? Like is that something that would work? Is he able to use his Susanoo? Would using his Susanoo even be like practical in this sense?
Right.
That's hard to say, but at the very least, from what I have seen, I know like Gojo's an incredible fighter. He has like his abilities, his spiritual abilities are really nuts. But I also know that Kakashi has his lightning blade. You know what? If I had to pick one right now, I'm going Gojo.
That's my answer.
If I had to pick one right now, I'm going Gojo.
Yeah.
To me, there are just too many unknowns with Gojo's abilities right now, and I have a feeling that he's a little higher up there.
Yeah, that's the same for me too. Like, I mean, for Kakashi Sensei, now granted, he did do the same pathway as far as like you could see that Kakashi Sensei is really strong, especially in the earlier seasons and stuff like that. I will say that where we're at now with Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo has yet to struggle. Kakashi Sensei has struggled against Zabuza. You know what I mean? So now that makes me.
Oh, Zabuza.
Yeah. Now, granted, I loved that arc. I loved that whole introduction because that was the first time you had an actual villain that could really, really put the Leaf Clan in danger. You know what I mean? So I think with that being said, and that's probably one of the only reasons why I can compare the two is because like we're seeing Gojo do some absolutely incredible stuff in the anime. I'm telling you, man, if you decide to pick it up and watch it, I think you'll see exactly where I'm coming from. But he comes up, he is whooping tail, and he's still calling these other demons out there weak. And it's just like he's not breaking a sweat. He's practically blindfolded the whole time. It's just like
He is.
Yeah, it's just like this
Like,
guy.
that is his character. Like Kakashi's like wearing a mask. He's just like Kakashi. You got this on my face all the time. Whereas Gojo just has like that strip over his eyes.
Yeah.
That he does eventually take it off, and when he takes it off,
Yeah. It's a whole nother world. So that's why I'm leaning more towards Gojo than I am for Kakashi Sensei. But I mean, still, I would like to see that in Jump Force. Like, just bring on Gojo, because I think Kakashi Sensei is already on Jump Force, and I own Jump Force, so I would love to see some Jujutsu Kaisen on Jump Force and just be able to.
We should stream some. We should stream some Jump Force.
Hey, one of our all-day animes. That's anime. We should be able to stream that and fight each other. You know what I mean?
I'm down. I don't think I've finished the story, but
I haven't.
I don't remember if I finished the story. I was getting to it, but like I got to a point where I was playing it, and then I was just like focusing solely just on the competitive aspect. I'm like, okay, I got to make sure that I have this person on my team. I got to make sure I have this person as immediate backup to cover this person's weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And then I got to make sure I have this person just in case those two die. And then I have like my sweeper back here just to sweep everything up.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
didn't they recently add some characters to the game?
Yeah, they definitely did.
I hope they keep doing that.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they will. I think my only downfall with it, because you don't get fighting games for the story. You straight out don't. If it has a good story, it's a plus.
The story's terrible.
I was about to say if you get a fighting game with a good story, that's a plus. But you don't get fighting games for the story. You get it literally for the fighting. The fighting on Jump Force, impeccable, absolutely great. My downside with it, my downfall with it, is I wish it was like, I think it was one of the Capcom versus Marvel, to where you can actually swap out and it's one of your players. Like me and you could team up against someone online or something like that. I wish it was something like that. I also wish we didn't share the same life bar. That was something.
That's another thing. Yeah. But I would say that is something that is kind of interesting though, because all three of your characters have that same shared life bar. You can kind of choose how you want to play. If you want to throw that one person out there and just try to wreck with them the entire way, then go for it. But if you want to be the person who's just swapping characters in and out to try to throw people off, then that's a whole new strategy instead of just having three different people you have to beat.
But on Dragon Ball Fighters, they didn't do that. If your person gets knocked out, then the other one comes right on in, charging in. That's what I like more of, and my fighters like that. That's swap out, because if you think about it, we're on the same stream together. Are we sharing the same life? You know what I mean? Right now, if you were to go ahead and take damage, I'm not being it's nothing like that. You're accountable for your own. I'm accountable for mine. Same thing, I think, in the side that unless there is some sort of plot line that kind of tied our souls together to where my life is depending on yours, that's why I'm protecting you and you're doing vice versa, that would be different. But there's nothing like that. So I never got games like that to where it's just one life and that was it. They did the same thing for Seven Deadly Sins video game. I love that game. That's actually a really good one. Seven Deadly Sins, that's a pretty good one. But I don't know why there's only one life. It makes no sense to me. So, but yeah. So there you have it, guys. That's actually, believe it or not, we're actually ending early a little bit with our all-day anime segment.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. So we got about another 13 minutes left, but we're about to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to take this moment again just to remind you guys, if you guys have not already, make sure you guys are checking us out on our social media pages, which again is the Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all that, Twitch. It's probably going to take me a little bit of time to say this, but if you guys don't remember any of that, just go to www.alwtgaming.com and all of that information is there. We also have a little app, which you guys can also get from the site, or you guys can just message us for app information if you guys are curious about that. And then this coming Tuesday is going to, tomorrow is Sin segment, and you guys should be seeing TBF Abyss and Mildewy Carrot running through on their page for Halo. They're doing a Halo collection run through. Tuesday is going to be all things anime with me and all the rest of ALWT cast. Thursday Smite Night, and then this Saturday is going to be our 9 to 5 segment. 9 to 5, we have full timers in there. We got one or two part timers in there. Gonna have a good time. 9 to 5 segment. Come hang out with us. Come nerd out with us. Come have a good time. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. Yep. And then lastly, but certainly not leastly, if you guys are already on here, thank you very much again for giving us a follow, giving us a view. If you guys would like to subscribe to us, we are like I said, we're not affiliated. Please make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. If you are Twitch Prime, which means that you're Amazon Prime and just link your Twitch account together. If you're Twitch Prime, each month you get a free sub. So you guys can sub for us for free. If not to us, be sure to try to go ahead and use that on another streaming platform or streaming channel, I should say, for Twitch, because you can only use that Twitch. So if you guys are Twitch Prime, go ahead and hit that submit button or subscribe button and get some really good content as we grow out there. We got some good news and good updates that's going to be coming for you guys. So thank you very much for your support, for your love, and for tuning in. Gravity-Mark, Dulce, do you have any last words you would like to say?
Peace, love, and anime, people. Just peace, love, and anime. Treat each other well, treat each other right, be nice to each other. And poke fun at each other's for each other's anime tastes. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm. All of that.
Be nice about it.
All right, guys. If you guys are not at retsports.com getting yourself a raise energy and type of ALWT Gaming at checkout, we will see you guys later. Again, make sure you guys check out Mood Dude Carrots channel tomorrow, Tuesdays, All Things Gaming, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will see you then with some big, great, incredible news for 2021 with ALWT Gaming and the ALWT Gaming Cast. Until next time, everybody, Control, Alt,
Complete.
Peace.